Don't call me Angel. Angel appears again, black Ray-Bans, blue hoodie, Van shoes, says, be not afraid, but kill your hope. For hooking up with me again. Girl, you gotta surrender. Drop in. Let go. Nothing's in your control. You're gonna have to get real bored. Stick around. Watch clouds. Find gratitude for your shoelaces again. Shoelaces. Angel, 46, 47, bearded, just like the psychic predicted. Cutest little skunk nose ever. Black lashes, blinks at the sun. Eats tacos, sips horchata. Tattoo wrapped around his wrist, black waves and letters that read, I am my only concern. Cuban Angel drinks a Mexican drink. Don't call him Angel. Don't call him artist. Don't call him anything. Don't get your hopes up. There will be no more sex. He's still hooked on his ex. Angel, if I send you pictures of my ex and I kissing, will that break the hex? Twin flame, my ass. What does she know about history? About drawing large circles? About kindness and self-made magic? About burning into nothing to be born good? About willing color or sound out of the cavern of your dark skull? Monkey brain, gorilla brain, I went back to our home in Africa, and let me tell you, it smelled just like I remembered. Is addiction looking right at what loves us and wanting something else? You have to leave it. Become a leaver. Angel, how can I? I'm still waiting to be saved by Jesus or the Donovans next door. White sneakers, white socks, who didn't call the cops. Why didn't they call the cops when they heard the screaming? Some people have mothers for a mother. I've abused no one. How could I, after being beaten for being good? In 3rd grade, my brother cut my hair off. Mom said, deck him. Why would I hit my best friend? I don't tell you about Rh negative blood because I'm listening, Angel. Do you fly to space in your dreams too? Or parking garages, those shoot-em-ups. What do you call them? Taquitos? Will we be born again? You found me this time. Tail chaser. Angel sits in my aquamarine Adirondack, lizard warm, asks for a lighter. I prop my feet up, retired from saving now, and bury something large in a small hole in my mind. Tell me, Angel, how do I love and not save? Sing and not court? Pull the divine through the bent flute of this beat-up body, broken ass, whiplashed, warped, kinked, contorted, instrument of thy peace, when the past roars inside of me like a leopard who's lost its skin. Angel takes a puff of pot. If we're gonna bring the 90s back, we're gonna have to wear Umbros, Grateful Dead shirts, maybe a hemp necklace. Read Server magazine, I think, those glossy pages. We're gonna have to date the good guy across town with his dad's shitty silver minivan in the safe house wrapped in wildflowers. 498 Andrew Street. Phone number 386-672-1344. Last name CYZYCKI. The house that never caught fire from maniac parents. Serve dinner every night at 6. We're gonna have to surf all day. Then go to prom. Pool hop. French kiss in the back of the one movie theater. Eat a lot of Choco tacos. Go to the sea at night. Climb the lifeguard chair in our billabong hoodies. Rainbow flip-flops in our perfect bodies with our empty minds. Watch the waves flip black, white, white, black, white, white. Wait for nothing. Chase no one. Not get our hopes up. Be held by time. Angel confesses. I had to talk to you. Do you hear me? I messed up. No more sex. It's okay, I say. That Z car needs a washing. After that 12 steps meeting, I don't trust myself. I haven't had a sane relationship since high school. I think I'll get a cat. Angel pops up, pokes in invisible earbuds, plays 50 Cent, twists his open space cap, does a funny dance. I paint like this. Jerky spasm. I plan it all out small and tight and then go big. But sometimes you just have to, he squiggles and giggles, let it move through you. Then says, some adults find weed late in life and use it as medicine. I'm gonna skate today. Try to get real high. I want to ask Angel. 4 years of dating in high school, no sex. Does that count as abuse? Or preservation? I used to be better at everything. Hey Angel, you want to go to the beach? Leave now. Get there by sunset. Watch the sky turn, get high. That Scorpio moon is coming. It's supposed to be good for something. No touching. We can be leavers. Keep our clothes on. Feet dry. Future intact. Skateboard through the Winn-Dixie parking lot. Sunburn with a cone of mint chocolate chip dripping off our chapped lips. Listen to the spasms of crickets. Get bit by fire ants under streetlights. Burn something we haven't learned to chase. Burn everything we've tried to love. Maybe even be loved again. Instead of broken into a million pieces of earth dust. Free again, teens again, no concerns, nothing. Don't call me Angel. 2. Angel, do you Tinder date? I don't know how to unlove, but I'm trying to put down thoughts that make me feel tiny. How do I know if I equate sex with intimacy? If the ghosts of our fathers are no longer housed inside the soft ribbons of our limbs, will we become light again? These days, I throw rose petals on my own doorstep. A good day is more than the cafe playing Leonard Cohen's Suzanne. A good day is recognizing my bad habits have been disguised as talent. Angel, tell me again how your mom says, "Bring me my yacket." My poems are better with you in them. Are there times when you feel bigger than sky? When the white pelicans cut circles overhead with their mighty wings and all of King Triton's fish flip in their slippery gangs below? When the power feels like it will never leave you? I caught a wave once that felt like it lasted my whole lifetime. If the Great Mother's milk is infinite, why do I lunge for the dry nipple? Is recovery finally seeing the alternate door, or discovering there actually is a door? I know I have to learn to stand on my own, but what kind of animal survives with no pack? Maybe the grid will transform into a web for love. Do you ever press on your eyes to see rainbows? You and I are of the Wolf Clan. We entered through the south gates. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. I don't know what the hell that means, but I like it when you growl at the breakfast table. Who's going to inform the world that I have to stay home now? We can't turn a teenager back into a baby. Mothers have been trying to do that for centuries. Yesterday, I rode a motorcycle up the Blue Ridge Parkway. Harry wore his rhinestone skull helmet. It flickered red, white, gold in the sunlight. His dick made a bump in his skin-tight reptile pants when he stood outside of the restaurant that served us burnt pizza. Why am I still eating lunch with strangers? Where's my family? It rained at the ranger station, and when clear snakes of water moved across my helmet shield, I gave myself over to God. Angel, the neighbors are rooting for us. Ian asked if I had seen his boy. I said, "Which boy? Your son?" "Oh, that one." I said, "No. He doesn't know what he wants." Then later, he knows exactly what he wants. It's just not me. 12 steps, 12 apostles, 12 hours, 12 months, 12 days of Christmas, 12 sons of Israel, 12 tones of God, 12 tribes, 12 signs of the zodiac. What is it about 12? I'm going to call it discovery, not recovery. How do I recover something that was never there? There's a guy across town who wants to cook dinner for me every night. He has a big white house with books and flowers and pillows and guitars on the walls. I could be his cat, sleep on all of the sofas, but I'm not attracted to him. He's old and has a belly and smells like Dove soap. I admit, I still fear that by sharing spontaneously, my hard work will be stolen or sold for parts. Angel, the June berries are ripe. You want a night walk? Even in this madhouse, the trees still grow. We can fill our mouths, fill our bellies, stain our fingers. We can still eat straight from the source. Don't call me Angel. 3. When I was little, my mom called me Angel Face. Strange name to drop out of the mouth of a dragon. Do you ever fantasize about having the Netflix and beige carpet life? There's nowhere to share when your mother is everywhere. Angel, have you been painting and getting high in your lazy boy chair? I'm supposed to be pursuing non-addicts now. Today, Ella came to the table with a handful of snakeskin. She unrolled it, clear white, and we inspected the tiny cells. She said, "I'm so proud of my baby." Then she went and got the snake. Its head was shiny and new again. It wove between her silver rings and black fingernails and licked at the light. She's a good snake mom. What if sobriety was like shedding? Addiction feels like a turning wheel, not a skin condition. I want to move in with Ella and Ange, live in that tiny glass foyer attached to the living room, walk the dogs, help dress the baby in his costumes, sit on the couch and stare at Ian's cloud paintings, have a place in the chaos. Today I practice feeling my feelings like they taught me in Discovery. I walk south towards the Renaissance Hotel. The sky filled with stacks of white clouds outlined in yellow, white, gold. I thought, oh, there are the heavens. And then I thought, that is not a feeling. So I gulped in a big breath and sent the air into my limbs. I feel empty. I feel tired. I feel like I've never been held. I feel homeless. I didn't shed any skin, but I was able to talk to the wheel inside of me. The wheel wanted someone to be home when I got home, someone who wouldn't yell at me for being good. One more gulp. Focus. I feel groundless. The sidewalk became an uglier gray. Then below it I saw dirt. Then sparkles. The worms started swimming towards one another, and then the voice of the Great Mother whispered, "I have always been here, holding you." Everything was whole again, and the pain was gone. Earthworms don't get enough credit for their work. Wilson told me today that recovery can't happen in the environment the addiction has existed in. Then he stood me up after class. Did he know I thought his nose was ugly? I didn't have anyone to eat dinner with. I feel alone because I don't have family. I didn't cry, but I could have because I had my big black sunglasses. I didn't try to find God in the clouds. I just gulped and walked home and let the pain move down to my fingernails and my toenails. I feel sad because I am beautiful and desirable and still have no one to eat with. because I pick lousy partners with addictive personalities. I sat on the stone bench and told Wilson my feelings were hurt and that I was going to my house to eat alone now. He said sorry and called me dude, then blamed it on his parents. If a habit is invisible, how can changing the environment affect anything? In yoga class, Michael had a banjolele. Its frame was wood and the strings made a stinging sound, but the first string was more of a thud. He sang in Sanskrit, which Dylan told me is the only language besides Portuguese with sacred geometry. I don't know what that means. I told my mom she couldn't come visit. She said something about July 5th and waterfalls, and I said no. I am busy. I wanted to say, I am the only one in our family who is in recovery, which makes me even more alone. She sent the word, fine. Does building walls ever feel good when all you ever want is for someone to lean in and hold you? I wanted to send her books with nice thoughts. I can feel her hating me or being sad, even 3 states away. Jacob kissed me on the cheek last night, and I almost orgasmed. There is a chance that I may equate sex with intimacy. What is more intimate than a man's body part in my vagina? Steve used to put his fingers through my hair. That felt intimate. I'm looking for a man who has space for me now, who has spare rooms and weekends and extra towels and a heart that isn't filled with exes. Psychology Today says that those who allow others to discover them are called openers, and that we can use routine to build intimacy. Also, sailboats, confined spaces, and kissing. Angel, I liked getting high with you and fucking on the pea green couch. Your hair clumped into black spears when you got sweaty. I remember you rubbing my feet and that I couldn't complete my sentences. Did that feel intimate to you? Today in yoga, Michael said, Yin is about creating stillness around the whole body. I can't believe I have to build another house alone. Had I known that not signing up for the conventional life would leave me here, I would have married that Tennessee cowboy and moved to Savannah with him. Well, maybe if he had given me a ring that didn't look like he got it out of a quarter machine. I'm being grateful, like you said, Angel. I give thanks for my legs and my public school education and my paper and my neighbors. I give thanks for the great mirror that teaches me that I need to love myself more. I thought I loved myself, but I guess I don't. It's reflected through my contracts. Adults who love themselves don't invite endless piles of trash into their beds. Don't call me Angel. 4. Angel, how do I pray to what I can't see? I've never been good at picturing God. I don't have any pictures of you either. Brian and I kissed last night in my blue-flowered reading chair, and when my lips touched his, I thought I might swallow him whole. There is great danger in silent hungers. Maybe revolutions are bubbles in time when those of us who were raised, beaten, abused, and abandoned will be given the tools to love ourselves, and that love will turn out into the world like a giant wheel. Then the gutters will fill with light, restoring us all to the great balance. I've been told I'm an optimist. Brian has a small apartment 12 doors down from me. It is bare, no plants, no AC. Did his ex-wife get all of the antiques? The porcelain urns, the long leather sofas, the main hall to his heart. Yesterday, instead of church, I went down to the water. I waded in the clear, snaking creek with Jessamine. She wore her green fabric hat tied under her chin and hooked the soft worms of her fingers around my thumbs.
Fish. Fish.
The sand sparkled. I thought, if I could fill my home with all of the gold of this moment, I wouldn't have to run anymore. How many mothers have found the still hand of God in their baby's touch? When I left the creek, there was talk about baptism, and I regretted not dunking my head under. If we could live a life of only beginnings, would we never leave love? Angel, now that the dark veil is lifting, I feel the world leaning in. It seems everyone can see my heart now. But last night, I had another nightmare that my mom showed up at my house uninvited. When she got too close, I lunged at her and ripped her wig off, screaming all of the ways her sickness has hurt me. Angie parked close by in her midnight blue minivan, and I was glad I wasn't alone. So much can be housed in silence. It wasn't as bad as the other dream where I tore her arm off and started beating her over the head with it. Angel, you don't talk to me anymore. Is this because we agreed I am not number 2? So far, spending time with Brian feels like unfolding a giant rice paper snowflake. There are wide gaps in our conversation where I get to rest and think of nothing, but I'm nervous something delicate might tear. He taught me the Latin name for pine tree is pinus. He also taught me that an astigmatism is when your eyes make a double image because the cornea is misshapen. I've been seeing double my whole life, and I don't think it has anything to do with my eyes. Brian's eyes are Carolina blue, and his drawl comes out on certain words like pencil. I can't believe he likes me. I thought my hair might be too wild and stringy, or that my jumper was too hippie, or my word count too high. When he's ready to go, he holds his cell phone in his left hand and perches on the edge of the chair. I stay calm and gulp in a breath, and in my head say, "Stay if you will, go if you must." He is a gentleman and hasn't made any fast moves yet. Why speak the truth when it is just one version of thousands? I'm practicing slowness now. The great hunger has caused too much lunging into uninvestigated territory. Angel, all of my friends laugh when I say I'm going to stay around for a while. I asked Chandler why. He was still wiggling and holding his belly, and he said, "Because we're jealous." He reminded me that, like the crow, I need to be thankful that I can move between worlds, even if it means losing a few feathers to the fire. Brian wants to get either a microscope or a telescope for his daughter Hattie. How does a father decide between sharing flagella or nebula with his daughter? If small creatures carry large messages, what will the stars have to say? Brian likes to kiss me in the same spot on my porch that I've been throwing rose petals for myself. We stand in the yellow butter light and say goodnight. He wraps his arm around me, then leans in to find my mouth. We press up against each other, landing just for a moment in the river of my own self-love. Don't call me Angel. 5. This morning I woke up at 4, 5, and then 6, and blinked into the purple light. A voice coiled inside me repeated, "Those who have betrayed you will betray you again." Then the message pushed warmly out of my lips, and the sound of the words flooded my ears like beer-colored moss. It's time to cut ties. Breakfast! Today, my fairy biomothers will walk with me along the French Broad River. I'll tell them about the summer camp counselor I had a crush on in middle school, the one with a thick black pixie haircut and deep brown eyes who played I Wanna Sex You Up on cassette tape in the sticky 12-passenger van. How can I be gay? After 10,000 hours of writing, I thought I was in touch with my desires. Angel, when you said you didn't get butterflies for me, is that because you considered I wouldn't rip you into ribbons? Butterflies come before speaking in public, trials, roller coaster rides, and after many deaths. Is letting go an inverted birth? Maybe that's why it's so painful. For the first time in 6 years, I have a roommate, Jenny Lynn. She shares my middle name and the first name of my longtime friend turned tormentor, the one that showed up to spit snakes out of her mouth when Brian and I were sitting sweetly on my front porch. If our vessels can house the darkness and the light, who assigns the manager? Every day, I dream of Africa, but these days I visit in my mind. It's cheaper, and I avoid the stress of airport security. Today I told Hazan that spring is here and my heart is beat up. He said, "You are loved by your Berber family. Take time with the birds and the flowers." Then I went downtown. I wanted a new long blue dress that sweeps the floors and hangs off of my shoulders like soft wings. I found nothing. Angel, maybe you aren't an angel after all. Your name spells ouch when I squint my eyes and scramble the letters around. It's a name that sounds like Lucio, which means light or illumination, and a name that sounds like Lucifer. Lucifer, morning star, light bearer, the devout name for the devil before his fall from grace. Why aren't we told more often that the gates of heaven are available to us even after we cast ourselves down into the blood-red belly of hell? In bed last night, Brian told me that the luminous liquid in a firefly's butt is called luciferin. It turns out they're related to glowworms. He has trouble sleeping in my bed. Something about my body temperature. I wish his butt lit up. It must be awesome to do it in the sky. Angel, when you told me to not share my poems, that hurt my feelings. My audience is so small already. I shrank and curled like a slug under salt. Then I took a great breath and thought, it is not up to anyone but myself to decide where my story goes. As I walked down Central Ave, I felt a great surge pass through me. I felt like I had power over you and anything that tried to shrink me. It was a power that could tear down kingdoms. It horrified me. In this whole midnight-colored galaxy on this wide blue earth, how am I going to stay put here in Asheville? Maybe I should get a microscope. Anchor myself down with the small and tiny. I can't keep traveling so far for water. Brian invited me up to his apartment, and he opened like a paper snowflake. He showed me a photo of his Japanese grandmother, so pretty in her wedding gown. Then, from a tall bookshelf, he slid out Maggie Nelson's Bluets. I took this as a message from the angels. Okay, I said, I'll trust. Blue sites, Chefchaouen, Morocco, Jodhpur, Rajasthan, Juskar, Spain, the Blue Mosque, Afghanistan, the blue domes of Santorini, Greece. Brian doesn't know anything about my relationship to blue, how I changed my last name to blue when I was Hattie's age, how I painted clouds on my floor after ripping my carpet out as a teenager, how I'm sitting on an unshared possibly useless manuscript called Blueprint. Maggie Nelson's words are sad and fragmented. These are the books that win awards, that get barcodes and nice covers. Pain is a great fuel in the New World Order, one that is awarded circulation and book signings. Some writers still don't know that the heart is the greatest engine. Oh, but you can write on love too, and make a lot of money. Only in the Matrix is love a profitable transaction. Maggie writes about Leonard Cohen's blue raincoat. I hear that you're building your little house deep in the desert. You're living for nothing now. I hope you're keeping some kind of record. Can I live deep in the desert in downtown Asheville? Will I be able to come home to my oasis? I really wanted a camel. Brian doesn't remind me of anyone or anything I've ever known. Maybe this means I'm finally inhabiting the clear tent of my future instead of the burning hairball of my past. I'll remain calm. I'll blink my butt back at him. 2 blinks to his 5. Steady, blink, steady, blink. Don't call me Angel. 6. Angel, are scientific measurements an attempt to know God or keep God out? Maybe I should ask Brian. How will I say my nighttime prayers next to an atheist? I came across Brian's black and white wedding announcement photo on the internet. He held his fiancée. She looked at his mouth. He looked into her eyes. She looked like she could be his mom. His hair was long. He confessed to me he cheated on her. Then his affair died of cancer. People will tell you everything on a first date. Is true love a non-flinching state of trust? What is the point of building outward trust if it always gets broken? I'm tired too, Angel. I've worked hard not to do the machine's work, and now I work alone. Maybe when Brian moves out of his shitty apartment in the fall, he will go back home to his castle, the one with the wrought iron spiral staircase that spirals up to the gold leaf library. Maybe we'll read books and ride horses and walk through the rose gardens. Maybe I'm delusional, wishing pigs into princes. Brian does look like a knight in the yellow buttered light of my bedroom door. His face glows white gold, his eyes 2 midnight lakes of water. The light falls beautifully on his skin, even though he barely breathes. We stand and talk in a room that I burned 10 years of my life to have access to, one that only until recently have I had the self-worth to move into. Why did I work so hard for something that already exists? There are countless doorways to stand in. Angel, do you move between a sense of genius and a sense of deep insignificance? Is this the fate of all artists? If we're leaning toward the great balance, the good can no longer remain silent and invisible. I'm learning that true love is always an action, not a wordy campaign with an internet domain. I'm drawing it all in, Angel. I'll act close to home and practice whispering to myself. The deepest revolutions come as homemade whispers, I'm convinced. Today, in Asheville, the streets flooded with sunlight and neighbors. Roberta carried blue-purple violets with wispy green leaves that caught the wind while she spoke. What if flowers are spies for the Great Mother? What if they stay small and low to the ground to watch the children? Alex and Jenny and I floated down the concrete streets of the market in a web of connectedness. $12 bread is not baked for writers and poets. We bought nothing. There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. Mahatma Gandhi. All sorrows are less with bread. Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. There is more hunger for love and appreciation in this world than for bread. Mother Teresa. Angel, my files are unorganized. All of my cherished belongings are 3 states away. My calendar empty because I've been running into and away from the light. Some days I wonder if I'm manic, but usually that's just because I've had too much coffee. After considering, I may have very well lived in ancient Egypt and held the high role of singing the dying into the afterlife. Brian's invitation to come over and watch the Goonies is a well-needed lifeline. I'll ask him to make popcorn. It's time to come home. Don't call me Angel. 7. Angel, yesterday wasn't a good day. I crawled. By sundown, the mountain of self-defeat had pinned its mass on my chest. My soul was riddled with holes and ached with all of the old stories I've been unable to control. Why don't we reach into the past for only the good moments? The memories that would become firm building blocks for present ground. Why don't we replay the memories of triumph over and over again, like a charming 1920s film on repeat? Movies are magic because they're made of light. Maybe if I stopped moving out into the world as a hero, I would actually draw in harmony. Last night, I was levitating in my dream again. I went from standing to floating lotus, then moved through the crowd, legs crossed like a spaceship made of flesh. I could navigate directions with my mind. I do this all the time in my dream state. I wear a half a smile and move through the markets. I'm happy and light and free. Then I wake up to my human life where I don't hover and I don't float. It is possible to want even the smallest things when they come with high prices. Today, I'm going to enjoy the now. I'm going to bask in all that I've built. I'm going to see myself as the container of light that I am. I'm going to stop crying outside of closed doors, all of the doors installed by others. I'm going to sit and pray. Was prayer intended to be a currency or only a navigation system? Angel, I haven't forgotten that you encouraged me to collaborate. I'm working on it. Today I'm going to celebrate that I took the road less traveled, a road that carried me to the castle of liberation. Then I'll think about planting a cherry tree. I'm convinced the world's next revolution will be built on self-love, a revolution of micro-movements and hyper-localized attention. Angel, I finally have a room with a view. Some nights I sleep with the door open so that I can look at Angie and Ian's house as I fall asleep. It hums sweetly with family. The white strands of light swing in the pear trees. I'll fight back the claws of capitalism by bathing myself in the cool womb of words. The strongest ammunition comes out of the mouths of people in our sane homes with good neighbors nearby. Don't call me Angel. 8. Angel, some days I feel like giving up. Brian evaporated this week. All of his messages said he was tired, and as the moon filled, I began to unravel. I'm done waving my arms at false stars. Truth is, I didn't communicate or ask him where he had gone. Instead, I feared what he would say or not say, question or reject. I wanted him to read the expansive caverns of my mind, kick into overdrive, drop off flowers, surprise me with a trip to an unknown waterfall, packed cooler, tote bag of books, waterproof field guide to local fireflies. I've been told the blue ghost can be found not far from here. How can I be an adult child? What kind of child buys a house in downtown Asheville with funds earned entirely by singing? Maybe maturity has a complex web of branches. Brian blew me off all week. Then Angie erupted because the chickens ate her plants. Who keeps chickens that can't be in their own yard? I had given Cider her pills and her eye drops and kept her company while she sunbathed on the warm pink bricks. I walked the shiny hyper wiener dog. I collected packages and pulled things in from the rain. I hadn't even taken any eggs, then got blamed. Then the cherry, a late message from Brian. Hope you had a nice day, smiley face emoticon. I hadn't, and what did he care anyways? People who really want to know about feelings ask about them. Angie was real mad. I was strong and stood up for myself, saying that I had done my best for no expectation of pay and that she didn't even thank me. She didn't even see the good parts. Then I sat on my bed and tried not to cry. Will my whole life be an attempt to do good only to get kicked in the head by the ill-tempered? I sent her love and slipped her into a bag of white light. Then I held myself. You are good. You are loved. You deserve nice neighbors. Everything is going to be okay. The next morning, a cluttered case of Father's Day cards at the grocery store, Dad in his Ray-Bans, his gold chain, his black undertee, long night rides in his Cadillac, orange blossom wind, my jelly shoes, mosquito bites. Where do you send a card when your father has turned back into starlight? Saturday, I told Brian I'd be out. I dressed like my confident self, the woman who has received marriage proposals from celebrities. I dressed like a woman who has sobered up dozens of friends just by housing them and being sober herself. I dressed like the woman who has built her own dynasty from a dust ball. I dressed like a grown girl who has survived the fire of being passed back and forth between two manic, dysfunctional parents. I poked at Brian to get a response, and when he did, the response hurt me even more. I hadn't slept with anyone else. There was no brunch. I only wanted the soft pump of his pulse to flow in my direction again. I'm a 39 6-year-old. I wanted the night where he sent me Carl Dennis poems on repeat, for eternity. I wanted my head on his chest. I wanted the first slow dance to Leon Bridges' Coming Home, crackling warmly through the slow spin of his record player. I wanted the soft yellow light back. How can I be with a man who doesn't even have a bed? Come on, girl. Sunday came, and through the grace of the great mystery, I was flooded with good memories of Dad. I saw us shooting BB guns in Uncle Johnny's strawberry field in Louisiana. He picked apart the prickly claws of crabs, and laid out the meat for me. He held my hand while we snorkeled in the Keys, circling over the rainbow fish. We slid down the big yellow slide at the state fair, the air sticky with Florida heat. I know the Great Father is greater than him, but he was a good Earth Dad, a real good Earth Dad. 2 books on songwriting, 2 novels, 7 collections of short poetry, 6 years. It's time to publish. It's time to expand out of this small, familiar shell. It's time to take up space, airwaves, bookshelves. It's time to respond to this broken world with all of my strength, steadiness, and integrity.